Miles Bridges. Oh my god. Miles Bridges, a 2029 first round pick and a 2027 second round pick to the Phoenix Suns for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a 2033 first round pick. So I kind of get it. Yes, Miles Bridges didn't fit the timeline. Still, I don't really understand why you trade LaMelo. Again, if you want to say for money reasons, I guess, and say what you want about him being a winning point guard, being efficient, being whatever. You pair him up with Con Knipple, those two are the future. And then you have Brandon Miller, who has also kind of taken a little step. Hopefully he can really turn up next year. And you got Miles Bridges. Now, Miles Bridges obviously is kind of the odd one out of those four. But the fact you trade LaMelo and now Miles Bridges, wow. But, man, initial reactions, it really seems like Charlotte hates being good. Like they are around in the NBA to be a bottom dweller. But I'm looking at it again. And honestly, yes, it's not as flashy. You did have something going. LaMelo, Con, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, and then Diabate or Kalkbrenner. That's a nice young lineup that you kind of want to progress in the next 3-4 years. See where it takes you, because hell, that could be a playoff team. Maybe you have to move on from Miles Bridges. But now, I think a lot of people are going to hate on this. The fact that they traded two of their best players. But looking at this roster now, you have Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, two very serviceable guards. You already had Kobe White. I think he will probably be the starting point guard. You still got Diabate, Kalkbrenner, Brandon Miller. You add Naz Reid, which isn't bad. I do think Naz Reid will be a big contributor. So it seems like they wanted to pick two out of those four that they had, and they rolled with Con Knipple and Brandon Miller. I'm starting to hate that a little less. I'm gonna be honest. I was coming on here, I was gonna be like, what the hell are the Hornets doing blowing this entire team up? I'm looking at this now, and I don't hate it. You still got Brandon Miller and Con Knipple. And those could be your two recipes to success. Those could be your two winning players that take those jumps. Con Knipple had one of the greatest rookie years of recent memory. One of the most memorable rookie years. Hit a ton of three-pointers, most by a rookie in NBA history. And then you got Brandon Miller. And I think what the Hornets saw this year was that Brandon Miller is very capable of taking jumps. I think he's obviously going to have a lot more expectations this year than he did last year, and especially with LaMelo leaving Miles Bridges. This is him and Con Knipple's team. Now, it's going to be interesting because I really think they have a lot of pieces surrounding those two. It will just depend on how big of stars those two can be. Because if they can be a little 1-2 punch, a little Con is scoring 30, while Brandon Miller gets a tough 20 and 10, and then everyone else contributes, that could be a good team. I think they have a lot of contributors. Kobe White can take care of the basketball. Diabate can rebound down low. Kalkbrenner can be an offensive presence. Naz Reid is obviously a former Sixth Man of the Year who stepped up in the playoffs. He gave the Spurs a little bit of trouble, gave the Nuggets some trouble with their size, with the T-Wolf size. But obviously he's a very good player. And it's going to be interesting. This, in my opinion, was a move. These last two moves that the Hornets have made will either put them back in bottom dweller territory, or it will help them take a step up. I see the vision here. I do see that they are trying to kind of round out the entire roster. So they're going all in. It looks like they're kind of selling right now, but I think they are going all in, trying to build this team. And like I said, it really just depends how much Con Knipple and Brandon Miller take steps. I think if Con Knipple is just a good shooter, a solid scorer, and Brandon Miller just kind of stays in wherever the range he is. What is he? Top, I don't know, I'd probably, off the top of my head, top 8 to 10 small forward ranking. If he stays in a top 8 to 10 small forward ranking and Con Knipple just stays a solid scorer, solid shooter, or a good shooter, a solid scorer, then yeah, I see this team taking a step back. But if Con Knipple can kind of turn into that all-star scorer, if Brandon Miller can turn into an elite small forward, like a Paul George type of player, prime Paul George, not 76ers Paul George, I really like this move. Because now they have so many pieces around them that can contribute in other places that those two can't. But it'll be interesting, man. It will be interesting. They really went for bench depth in this offseason. We'll see. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like the Naz Reid, Kalkbrenner, and Diabate 3-man rotation. I think maybe Kalkbrenner can kind of play the power forward a little bit. Naz Reid maybe a little bit. Diabate's mainly a center. But that's 3 rotational centers. Final pointer here, they are just very well rounded. And I like that. You look at some of the best championship teams, what did they have? They had a good bench. This Knicks team, yes, starters were very good, don't get me wrong. But they had a solid bench. They played Jose Alvarado down the stretch. They played Landry Shamet down the stretch. They trusted those guys. They trusted Mitchell Robinson. In order to be a good team, you got to be able to trust your bench. Especially as of late, with 8 new championship winners with no repeats, a lot of those teams trusted their bench. So I don't hate this. And like I said, I was coming on here ready to hate, ready to say that the Charlotte Hornets are being idiots again, being the classic Charlotte Hornets that they were once and always will be. But now looking at it, I really don't hate it. But we'll see. As far as the Suns, I also don't hate it. You still need a point guard. Maybe that's what free agency's for. I don't know. I really don't like this. I don't know if this was the move for the Suns. Like, I felt like the forward, or anywhere between the 2, the 3, and the 4 was not something that you needed. You needed either a point guard, a true point guard, or a good center, good to elite center. A big thing this year was they didn't really have a guy in the post that could guard. And maybe that's Kaman Maluak in the future. But just to have a trustable guy that can take care of the basketball, or have a center that can play good defense down low and score when he needs to. You're just adding another forward to this roster. You got Dylan Brooks, you got Jalen Green, you got Devin Booker. That's kind of, I guess, if you want that to be your 1, 2, 3, I would almost like that to be my 2, 3, 4 going into the season. And now with Miles Bridges, they are almost confirming that it will be Jalen Green, Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks, Miles Bridges, and whoever's going to start at center. I don't like this as the Suns. Wow. That's so interesting how that flipped for me. And free agency is still on its way. So obviously a lot can happen. But man, Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen, those are two of your, like, Royce O'Neal is not really a point guard, but he handled the ball at times. And obviously Grayson Allen did too. They definitely need to go get a true point guard. So we'll see what happens there. And I get the Suns team was just kind of, they were above expectations, but I think a lot of people are going to remember them this year, especially after they got swept by the Thunder. It's just average. They were average. They were in that middle team purgatory. They were not bad, but they were not on the same level as the top 5 or 6 teams this year. So I guess they needed to make a move. They needed to take a step or try to go all in, I guess. They definitely did that. And it is interesting. 2 teams that they both finished as the 7th seed at the end of the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. Went into the play-in. The Hornets missed the playoffs. The Suns made the playoffs. So both are kind of in that middle team purgatory. But the Hornets kind of had a brighter future. The Suns didn't have as bright of a future. They were kind of a now team. But, this trade will, I think, send both of these teams in an up or down direction. I think it gets them both out of that middle team purgatory, whether it is trending up or trending down. I think both of these teams could definitely get better or get worse. And I'm talking better as like a top 5 seed or a bottom 5 seed. Let's just see what's going to happen. Let free agency play out. Who knows? Maybe Phoenix goes and gets a point guard. I'm not aware off the top of my head who's on the market, but maybe they do. I think the Hornets are kind of set. The Hornets have got their guys. They've made some moves, and they're ready for the season to start pretty much. Maybe they get another forward just to be a backup or something. But they're set. The Suns, in my opinion, still have a couple moves to make. But, like I said, let's just wait and see. That's all I got to say. I'll see y'all later. See ya!